Hey, before the video, I just wanted to chat with you real quick about the HBO special that's coming out. This thing is incredibly important to me, and I'm very thankful that I get to share it with you. People have asked me what the difference is between what I do weekly on YouTube and this HBO special. And I'd say that for the most part, what I do on YouTube is a lot of world and current events, politics or pop culture, and my thoughts that I've written throughout the week on those things. And then I do it on the road and then I share it with you. And while that is like one of the main parts of my journey, I think that something like this HBO special is meant to be more timeless, something that people hopefully 30, 40 years from now can look back on and really enjoy and connect with the same way that I look forward to you connecting with. The other really special thing about this project is I got to do it with my best friend. Jacob and I have been friends since we were 3 years old. I came to him 3 years ago with the nugget of an idea. We talked about it and worked on the structure and everything. And this is before I had written any of the jokes. Seeing it all come to life is something that's really been a dream. And now it's a dream that I get to share with you. So I'm very thankful to all of you because you're why it happened. Until then, enjoy the video.
It's Josh Johnson in 3D!
Ooh, I'm in 3D. Good popcorn.
Okay. It is not fair that when you go to the doctor, you have to tell the doctor what happened. I'm hurt. Isn't that enough? Why do we have to get into the whole embarrassing backstory of how I was injured? Because sometimes it's going to be relevant. You know, if you go to the doctor, you're like, my back hurts. And he's like, what happened? I was shot. It's like, that's the information that we need to know. But in my case, it's like, look, can you just check if my nose is broken? It doesn't matter what happened. It won't change whether or not it's broken. I walked into a ceiling fan, all right? And I understand you're thinking to yourself how you're not tall. I was on a ladder, all right? I was on a ladder and I was trying to change the light because this place I was living at the time had these sconces. And the sconces were the ones that were built where the whole sconce is the screw. All right, so you just have to turn this forever. You just have to do this nonstop. There's no little screws so you can grab a Phillips head. You have to turn this forever. So I turned it for what felt like forever. And then as soon as I take it off, I see the bulb. And the bulb is like a bulb I've never seen before. It's like this incandescent looking thing. This is the most Edison bulb I've ever seen in my life. So now I'm Googling on my phone where I can buy this bulb because you can't just get this at Walgreens. And so now I'm looking at my phone. Admittedly, yeah, I got distracted. I got on Instagram and I turned around, forgot I was on a ladder and went to walking. I went to walk off the ladder and I walked into a ceiling fan, which to be fair, when they are moving, are invisible. They are. If you got 3 clicks on a ceiling fan, it disappears. If I walked into a ceiling fan that was being still, that'd be very silly. That'd be very dumb. But this thing is, who can know? How can anybody you might have a ceiling fan behind you right now. Don't judge me. And so I walked into it and it knocked me. And then, yeah, I went to the doctor. The doctor was like, what happened? I was like, do we really need to, I just wish once I could go to the doctor and the doctor's like the doctor from the pit. And I walk in and I sit down. They're like, we got a ceiling fan right here. We got a ceiling fan. They just already know what happened and how to fix it. They help me with my personal life, too. Look, don't walk in any more ceiling fans, and you should listen more. Oh, because admittedly, yeah, maybe the ceiling fan saved my life. I was walking off a ladder anyway. There was another time I had to go to the doctor, explain what happened. This one wasn't my fault. All right, I was walking on the ground. I was walking. It was nighttime, which is not the best time to do your walking, but I was walking. It was night, and I was visiting a city that didn't believe in street lights. All right, this is one of those cities where I don't know if it was not in the city planning budget, but they were like, one every mile should do it. And so I'm walking across the street, and it's pretty dark, and that's when I get hit. I get hit hard by someone on a bicycle that didn't have any lights on, right? And so from my perspective, though, you gotta stick with me here. All I know is it was dark and it hurt. Like, I can't give you any relevant information to what happened, all right? I was told later I got hit by someone on a bike, but at the time, all I heard was, huh, and then I got hit. I didn't know what had happened. Like, I didn't know if it was a ghost, something being dark and hurting you does sound like the devil. Maybe it was Satan. I have no idea, but I got hit hard, right? I heard, whoop, and then boom. And when you get hit in the dark, you don't know up or down, especially if you fly. Like, if you get hit hard enough, even when you land, you don't know you've landed. And so, look, this is embarrassing, but okay. So I got hit, and I don't think I flew, but I definitely was off my feet for a second, right? And so then, because I didn't know what hit me, why I got hit, or where the ground was anymore, I just started screaming. And so I hit the ground, I started screaming, and I tried to run. But when you hit the ground like that, you don't know what the ground is. So I thought I was up against a wall, so I started running, but I wasn't going anywhere. Okay, so when I got hit and I landed like sideways, right? So now I'm trying to run like this because I think I'm touching a wall, but I also may have been concussed, actually. I think... But I started running against the ground because I was like, I gotta get out of here. Oh, it was bad. But I will tell you, one of the worst times to go to the emergency room and have to explain an injury is when you were backyard wrestling. Like backyard, like back in the day, just with your friends, backyard wrestling. Because you would watch wrestling and you want to do some of the moves. And I'll tell you right now, everybody's got their different metrics for rites of passage and coming of age, being a man. I'll tell you this right now, I made one up on my own. Since they're all made up, I threw one in there too. You're not really a man until you have been put through or put somebody else through a folding table, all right? There's nothing watching somebody go through a folding table is one of the most entertaining things America has come up with, all right? Forget all the art we do, all right? Sending people through folding tables is purely American. You won't even care about what's happening, but then somebody will go through a folding table and you'll be like, that was pretty cool, though. That was actually awesome. One of my friends had to go to the hospital because they were backyard wrestling and they got him in the position, grabbed his neck and he's over here pretending, oh, what's gonna happen? He knows the table's right behind him. What's gonna happen? Oh no. And then they both jump up together and he gets thrown into the table, and this was a particularly strong table. This table didn't break at all. So this head landed on a table. This dude was hurt. I've never seen somebody land on a table so hard and have nothing happen. He slammed on the table so perfect and just stayed where he was. It looked like that one scene in John Wick where they threw him off the balcony and then he just hit the ground and then the camera stopped and you were like, he must be dead. This dude got thrown onto the table, stayed right there, and then in unison, everybody was like, oh! Yeah, like, we didn't know what we were looking at. We were like, I mean, did y'all buy a real table? What did y'all do? They had to pause the wrestling match because we were all like, so his back must have fallen off, right? Like, I've never seen somebody just be that still. And because it's backyard wrestling, everybody's too close. Like, at least in a stadium. In a stadium, you know, they could whisper things to each other and maybe the crowd doesn't hear. But we all in the backyard. And dude who threw him onto the table came over and he was like, are you okay? And he went, wait, don't make me laugh. Wait, stop, wait. He was like, are you okay? And then he went, oh. Now you sit in the emergency room, doctor asks you what happened, you like, the table didn't break. Because going through it's very different than the chair. The chair was a mistake. That's a staple of wrestling that is spilled out into real world fights, and it is a bad idea. The chair, we gotta stop with the chair. The chair, throwing a chair is never exciting because it's too random. Because when you throw a chair, other people in the room are like, I'm not involved with this fight, and I might catch a chair. Throwing a chair is the only time that the audience wasn't having fun in Jerry Springer. Do you know what I mean? Like, people would be doing all sorts of stuff on Jerry Springer, and people would be fighting and everything. Everybody, yeah, Jerry. As soon as somebody threw a chair, people, oh! Oh. No, the chair's too much. It makes a satisfying sound, you know, like when somebody gets hit with a chair, backyard wrestling, professional wrestling, whenever you hear that, that's, you're like, oh, he's winning now. Oh. I've never really been able to fight. Like, I don't fight. Like, I don't start fights and I don't really fight. But I've been in fights. Like, I have fought. I've been fought, but I didn't fight. Like, and it's not because I'm a passer. I tried to fight, but I didn't fight. Like, if you had seen me fight, you'd be like, he moving. He is moving, but he not fighting. Like, you would think being in enough fights, you pick something up. And it turns out you can come to each new fight with the same zero amount of knowledge about how to fight as you had in the last fight. And so sometimes, especially when you're a kid, you're fighting with your friends and stuff like that. Or, look, maybe you're fighting people who you're really trying to hurt. But, you know, I would get in fights every once in a while and, like, I just couldn't put it together. I wasn't one of these kids that had, like, combos and stuff. You know? There was one time I was in a fight and I knew I was losing because I was so... your stress levels, your cortisol's like spiking when you're in the middle of a fight, and I didn't know what to do. And I'm like young, and so I'm just thinking the only fights I've seen so far have been in comic books and wrestling. And so everything I did, I just said out loud, which is the worst version of telegraphing your attack that you can get. I'd be like, punch! Kick, elbow. Now, don't get me wrong. That could be cool. That could be cool if you connected. If you connected, that's very cool. Because now you're beating somebody up and you're like, punch, see? Punch, punch. That's dope. I was saying punch and missing. I remember I was in a fight one time, and not only was I I was tired. No one really in movies or TV take in the tired element of a fight, because it hurts and it takes a while to like swing the way you want to swing, and after you swing and punch air a few times, you're like, like you can't. Do you know what I mean? Like if you mid-fight, you're losing. I didn't know the rules of fighting, because here's the thing. When people talk about rules of fighting, it's usually like nothing in the eyes, nothing in the groin, you know? But there are rules to fighting if you're trying to show that you can fight that I broke because I didn't know them. And one of them is taking a nice, long, deep breath that you need mid-fight. If you are in a fight and y'all back up a little bit and you go, they know they got you. They know, ooh, you're cooked. If you over here, no, we were in this fight and I was dog tired and I was losing. I was tired and punched. And so even now when I'm trying to defend myself, I'm over here. Like, it's not good fighting at all, you know? And we're young, so it's like when you're kids, you're not even really hurting each other because you can't generate the right torque, you know? But I was losing so bad. I knew I didn't know how to fight when this kid did a finishing move on me. Do you know how bad you gotta be fighting for somebody to do a move that doesn't make any sense to advance on you? This is one of the most disrespectful things that's ever happened in my life. So basically, I'm over here, I'm trying to fight him off and everything. And then he had so much confidence. I was fighting so poorly that I instilled the confidence in him to come up with a finishing move. Because you could tell this wasn't a move he knew he was going to do that day. Like, this wasn't a go-to move. He literally was fighting and I was doing so bad, he had time to be like, what else? What else? And so I'm backing up because I'm trying to like catch my breath and figure out how to sway and everything. And this dude ran up, clicked his heels, and punched me in the face. And no, not at all, no. That is not okay. You're not gonna click your heels at me. Oh, yellow brick road attack. You can't. You gonna run up on me and 10-man cowardly lion punch me in the face. I got punched. I was still like, what did you just do? Seeing somebody, because he did with like whimsy too. He ran up and punched me in my face. I'm over here holding my eye like I finally understand gun violence. I really do. Because like, you can't just roll up on somebody and punch them in the face, click your heels in the air. How am I supposed to go to the doctor and tell them I got punched in the face and he clicked his heels? And you embarrassed me in front of everybody I got to tell this story to. Even when it happened, I was like, I'm never going to let this happen again. And then it happened again. That was a different look. It was a different fight. It was a different kid. But then this kid, you know, I had some better cardio by now. Now I wasn't as tired. I wasn't over here being like, I was more like. And this kid, he got me good, pieced me up, right? And then he loved to kick. He was good at kicking. And so he was also tall, so I couldn't get in close and everything. He knew how to keep the distance and stuff. And he saw me at my weakest and decided to, must have seen the other fight because he decided to come up with a finishing move too. But this one made me even more angry because this one just didn't even make any sense. Like he went to kick me, but first he went, and then. That doesn't even help the attack. Ooh, I was furious. I was in a fight one time, and look, this is why you come to get tips on how to fight in the streets. But I didn't know this when I was fighting. Okay, so this kid also kicked me, right? And kicked me in my hip, right? Which didn't hurt, but it did move me. And when you get kicked in a fight, whether you get kicked or you get punched, no matter what happens, when you're in a fight, I didn't know this, but when you're in a fight, you cannot, under any circumstances, say ow. That will undercut your entire position, all right? As soon as you say ow, you lose it, right? So I got kicked, I was like, ow! And the way he kicked me too, because I didn't know where to put my hands, right? I didn't know. There was a lot that I didn't know about fight. Like even when you were backing up, I didn't know you're supposed to back up like with your whole body as a unit. Like I didn't know that when you're trying to get distance, right? And you're staying on your tiptoes and you're staying bouncy, that you're supposed to back up like back, right? I didn't know that it was like back like that. So then I went to back up and I was like, and that. That already gave me away as someone who doesn't fight. When you gallop like that, I might as well have had one of those horsey sticks in between my legs. The way that I was thinking to myself, I was like, all right, I gotta do something because he's doing different stuff. And so I thought to myself, okay, maybe I'll be able to pull off a finish and move right now because he kicked me in my hip, which already put my hand out here, right? So in my mind, I'm like, hey, I'm just gonna come around. This is the cross, right? I'm gonna come in and just knock him clean out, cover right across the chin. He's gonna go to sleep. I'll be standing over him. Look at you now. When he wakes up, I'll be like, tell me what happened. And I was thinking all this in my head in real time. Even as I was swinging at him, I was like thinking about how I was about to knock him out. The problem is my eyes are not the best, which means my depth perception is also not great. And so on the way in, I wasn't doing what I thought I was doing. Like I thought so much about the punch without actually adjusting for the punch. So by the time I saw my fist again, it wasn't like this. It was still like this from over here. So I just sort of hit him. I just sort of like hit him in his neck like this. Honestly, by the time my fist was like back in my sideline, I was like, that's not right. And then there wasn't enough time to change it. So I just sort of clubbed him on his chin. And apparently, whether you're defending or attacking, you're not supposed to say ow. Because I did come back in like, ow! No, it was bad. This is very bad. I'm not much of a fighter, but so much of what my ideas of fighting even are stem from wrestling. Like I loved wrestling when I was a little kid. When I was like 7 years old, wrestling was my favorite. These people were like my heroes, Huge fan of like Kevin Nash, Sting. Sting was big. Goldberg, Stone Cold Steve Austin. I was, and look, I was young and I was watching every week. I was watching religiously. Just these people were incredible. They put on such incredible shows and they had like these mind-blowing physiques and they were doing all these stunts. They were picking each other up and throwing each other like they all didn't weigh 300 pounds. I was even a huge fan of Hulk Hogan. Look, we didn't know back then, all right? I didn't know. I was 7, all right? I was 7 years old. I was a huge fan of Hulk Hogan. And look, these are important things to do. When you realize that you're wrong about something or wrong about a person, it's important that you don't just like disappear. That you can say, no, I thought something and then I learned different information. I think one of the reasons we're in the situation we're in now is because everybody digs their heels exactly where they are. Nobody budges about anything. And I can tell you honestly, that was a huge fan of Hulk Hogan, and this is embarrassing to admit, but when I was a kid, I had no concept of tanning. I didn't know what tanning was. I took people at face value. And so when I was 7, Hulk Hogan was my favorite African American wrestler. Look, when you're a kid, you look up to people that are doing cool things you like to do that look like you. And every day I tuned in, I was like, all right. Now, I was sure Hogan was black. I was positive. You know what I mean? He had like his swag about him and everything. He was calling everybody brother. I even got the toys. I even got the toys. I remember my first toy, my first wrestling toy was a Kevin Nash action figure. You know, and then I got Sting. Sting even came with his hand so they could curl, so you could put a bat in his hand that came with the set. You know? Goldberg. I even got a Hulk Hogan toy. And when I got the toy, admittedly, I wasn't deterred from the idea that he was black because I was used to dollar store toys where they, you know what I mean? You know what I'm talking about. I've talked about this before, that like those dollar store toys, you know what I mean? Sometimes they don't come like they should, you know, like, or they don't have the right. Like they don't have the rights to make a Superman toy, so they make a Man-Man. No, yeah, if you weren't up on that Man-Man, you gotta get that Man-Man toy. Man-Man was great. He was clearly like 3 different action figures put together of stuff that didn't sell from China. Had like a Superman head and had a He-Man body. Had the feet of a horse. But yeah, I got my Hulk Hogan toy, and I just thought to myself, like, they didn't even finish painting them. They didn't even, like, I'm sure he upset. You know what I mean? Over here, this is shoddy workmanship. They didn't finish at all. You know, and look, there are, at least as I see it, 3 different eras of the internet. There's that first early internet where you have to know a lot on your own. People were figuring out the internet with it, you know? Like if you wanted to do something, you had to really know how to code, or you had to be able to get into a system yourself to get the result that you wanted. And then we entered another era of the internet where it became a little bit more user-friendly. Things were just easier. Navigating, like all search, all these things became easier and it became more part of our lives. And now you fast forward to the present time that we're in, where the the computers and the internet at large are like completely intuitive. Like they're doing things for you that you don't even really think to ask for, you know, probably to our detriment a bit, you know, like the way that things are so easy that you don't just have autocorrect now, you have like predictive text trying to finish your thought as you're typing and everything. And in all three eras of that internet, it seems like Hulk Hogan had a leaked tape of him saying the N-word. Like, it's just a lot of N-word instances for one person. You know what I mean? We haven't caught Tucker Carlson yet, but we got Hulk Hogan. This is crazy. And admittedly, I remember when that first one dropped, and people were up in arms, and you would think, you know, obviously me being a little black boy, especially from the South, and hearing this ugly word in so many different settings, you know, you would think that me hearing one of my heroes say something like that would destroy me, you know. Here's this dude saying the ugliest thing that I've heard, you know, before I even understood it. And admittedly, at the time, this tape comes out, and I'm still young, and so I was like, he's black, y'all, he's... And then later, it happened again. I actually found out that Hulk Hogan was white. I was devastated. I was absolutely distraught. I sat there thinking to myself, like, he pretended to be black all these years. This is unacceptable. Because they have this documentary series on Netflix that came out about Hulk Hogan, tracks his career and stuff like that. And the thing that I find most interesting about Hulk Hogan is that his trajectory, his story feels so deeply American. Like every part of it. And it actually feels American in the way that we as a country are experiencing life on the world stage right now. You know? It does. Like, Hulk even fought Iran. Like, he fought the Iron Sheik. But it's true because, you know, I know that, like, there's Hulk Hogan and then there's Terry. It's Hulk Hogan's real name. It's a tough thing as a child to find out your hero named Terry. It really makes you question your discernment as a child. Never mind you accidentally think he's black, but Terry... Do you know what I mean? Like, just look, I'm sure, with respect to Terrys, all right? I'm sure there have been Terrys that have been heroes in life, okay? But Terry... It just doesn't sound like the name you scream when somebody's gonna get up and win a fight. If I'm screaming Terry watching a fight, it's Terry, stay down. Terry, no, be still, Terry. Terry, tap out, he doing his finishing move, Terry. Yeah, there's Hulk Hogan, and then there's Terry. And people saw a lot less of Terry. Even his family said that eventually, when you're with any of these wrestlers, there's just a little bit of them that slips away. It feels like they're performing all the time, you know, especially, I imagine now. I imagine if you're a wrestler now, it's completely different. At least back in the day, you knew when you were going to be on TV and you knew when you were going to be at home. And now, because everyone has a TV in their pocket, you kind of have to be in character all the time. If you want to maintain this character, you can't really let that mask slip. And so there's Hulk, and then there's Terry. Just like there is the American dream, and then there's reality. Because the dream is fire. The dream is very cool. This dream that we have, I'll go ahead and say nothing like it. Nothing like it anywhere else. I don't know of another place that people go to achieve that country's promised dream. Then there's reality, which is a stark difference. At least Hulk Hogan and Terry are the same size. You see the American dream, and then you see reality, and you don't even recognize one from the other. It's just a terrifying juxtaposition, because you have people that will fight tooth and nail just to set foot on the soil and have a chance to start a life that is that dream. And then you have the reality that even if you, by chance, by luck, were born here, you don't have to climb, you don't have to crawl, you don't have to swim, you don't have to fight, you don't have to barter, you don't have to beg to get over here. You're already here. And then you look around and you're like, this feels like a poor country. I don't know. I'm not the only one not doing well. It's kind of everybody. When I was a little kid, there was a child who made it to the U.S. from Cuba on a raft. And there was this whole debate, like political debate, but also like a genuine moral debate of if someone is willing to do what is tantamount to the Olympics to get here, should they have a place? Should we take someone in? Isn't that the whole Statue of Liberty thing? Like, shouldn't we take somebody in if they are fighting tooth and nail to get here, and they do more than any of us as citizens have ever had to do to gain the ability for a chance at life here? And so you had some people that were saying, no, look, there's a process. You have to do it the right way. You got to send this kid back, right? And then there were people saying, absolutely, you have to take people in. There are people in need, and we have more than enough, at least as a country. At least as a country, we're the richest country in the world. We have more than enough. We should be able to find some resource to help you out. And then there were people like me at that time. I was also a kid. And I was like, he doesn't know it's pretty bad over here. Like, it's actually... Ooh, as a citizen, I have horrible news about my life so far. Yeah. I think that's one of the reasons we turn to like entertainers and that escapism for an ideal about ourselves, because at least there it's a little bit easier to feel like that thing is real. Everything that Hulk Hogan went through to become Hulk Hogan and to become the heavyweight champion was like an American dream. You know, he didn't grow up with money. He had to fight. He had to break his body. He had to be given chances, and then he had to take every opportunity possible, even when those opportunities looked like they were slipping him by. You know, Vince McMahon gave him a choice. This is the dad, senior, right? He gave him a choice. He was like, if you go do that Rocky 3 movie instead of your promo that you're supposed to do for me, you're fired. And he went and did the movie, and that was a risk, because he didn't know what Rocky 3 would do for him. Turns out it catapulted him into stardom. Taking chances is part of what America's supposed to be all about. And then he goes to absolute war with the Iron Sheik at Madison Square Garden. He wins and becomes the heavyweight champion. He's everybody's hero. Even his dad who never understood why he went into wrestling, his dad said on camera how proud of him he was. Seems like that was maybe the first time that Terry had ever heard those words. He's like, I'm proud of my son. And he said, I think you did the right thing. But for years up until that point, he was like, why can't you be more like your brother? Why didn't you go to college? But it wasn't until that day, Madison Square Garden, thousands and thousands of cheering fans and watching your son in real time achieve his dream that you didn't even think was possible. How can you not look at that and say, yeah, absolutely. That's what the American dream is supposed to feel like. And the reality is very different. The reality and the truth of the matter is that these people, like Hulk Hogan, are truly one in a million. Not because of talent or grit, not because of like hard work or anything, not even because of luck. They are one in a million because the odds and the way that the deck is stacked does not work that way. You don't just get to the top by working hard. It's just not true. Hard work is an element of people who've been very successful, but I meet people every day who work incredibly hard, and they're not going to make more at their job than they're making now. You know, I've been there. I've worked at restaurants where I've worked as hard as I could, and then I was like, okay, yeah, I guess it was worth $36. You know, because you're not actually rewarded according to your hard work. You're not usually rewarded according to your talent or even by merit. Half the time you're rewarded because of who you already know, through relationships, sometimes just through, you know, who your parents are. I'm not saying that's the entire way the world works. I'm just saying more if it works that way than it does the other way. And so I was watching Hulk Hogan as this kid, and I'm watching him towards the tail end of his career because he's wrapping up wrestling by the time I'm becoming a wrestling fan. And I'm just proud to see, you know, a black man out there achieving his dreams. It meant a lot to me. And then you see, I don't know, you see things shift. You see things shift. Like Hulk Hogan went away from me for a long time. I didn't really keep up with him at all through the years. I only really heard about Hulk Hogan through leaked N-word tapes. But I finally saw him again a while back. He was at the RNC. And he was ripping his shirt for Donald Trump. Yeah. When I was watching it, I was like, I don't fully get why you would do what you want. Do you know what I mean? There was a part of me that when I saw that happen, I didn't even have the pang of like, oh, no, one of my childhood years, because I had stopped liking Hulk when I found out he lied about being black. You know, If anything, I was watching him rip his shirt to the RNC and like, look, a fraud campaigning for a fraud, okay? You know what I mean? We're at war, and we don't even know why. We're just doing stuff. We have no idea why. We're just doing things. At least Hulk knew why he was wrestling Iron Sheik. If you asked him, like, what do you do with this? For the world title, brother. Ask any of us why we're at war. We look like people who don't know, and we don't know. It's one thing to not know what you're talking about, but then just finesse it or like just throw something out there, you know, and just try to get away with it. But look at Pete. Look at Pete Hegseth. He does not look like someone who knows why he's at war. He just know he at war. Marco Rubio trying to gaslight everybody. I've told you why we're at war several times. I've told you something. This is the same stuff that like my parents would do if I ask like a good question as a kid. Whenever you ask a good question, adults be like, we already went over this. It's like, no. My life was short so far. I remember everything that has happened and we did not talk about this. No, you're not slick. We didn't go over this 1,000 times. We haven't. I remember. This morning was most of my life so far. Like, you're not gonna trick me. Even Trump doesn't know why we still at war. He tries to act like he does. But you notice every other post he does, the war is over. I feel like he's trying to do that until it's true. Like he can confuse Iran, be like, we're not even over there anymore. Like Iran comes to the peace talks and he's like, y'all still talking about old stuff. I've moved on. I don't even... No, because this is bad. This is bad. This is very bad. This is very, very bad. I watch the news and have the opposite feelings. You know, I used to watch wrestling and wish it was real. No, and it's even crazier that Trump is involved with both. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's on the news all the time, but he was in WWE. He's in the Hall of Fame. This dude took everything he learned from wrestling and put it into politics. And now we're over here paying the price. That was one of the goofiest timelines I've ever seen. This doesn't make any sense at all. Man, this is bad. What are we gonna do? Do you know what I mean? Like this dude. The thing that I think also happened with Hulk is apparently he was a very bad sport about ever putting someone else over. And in wrestling, putting someone over means like letting them win the match and then doing it in a way that looks convincing, like making them look really good. You know, like he had that epic, one of the best wrestling matches of all time with The Rock. And in that one, The Rock won. And look, maybe Hulk was happy to do it, I don't know. But apparently, throughout his career, he really didn't want to put someone else over. And I feel like we are in the same predicament as a country. All we ever want to be is number one. We think of ourselves as number one. Even people who haven't traveled. That does blow my mind. Whenever people are like, this is the best country in the world, I'm like, where else have you been? They're like, Nebraska. Like, what are you doing? You don't get to say that unless you've been to at least one other place. You don't know. The thing that's so frustrating about where we are, especially right now, is that the mask is sort of off. And they've already told you that all the money that they have is going to be used to destroy other people's lives instead of improve yours. You know, because you could have a better quality of life, and everything that you want, we're going to spend to make sure someone else doesn't have it. So I guess there's that. Oh. Number one in so many different things, got most money, got biggest military. We also like the number one in serial killers too. I don't know any country doing it the way we do it. I'm not seeing, I go to other countries and watch their Netflix and they don't have any of the Netflix documentaries that we do about the very specific kill. Even our serial killers are running out of gimmicks to try to stand out. Yeah, I don't know anybody out here serial killing like us. Do you know what I mean? Like, every once in a while, I guess they catch somebody, but that's like a very specific type of like psychopath. We over here got people, they're just like, I don't know, I just feel like dressing up like a doll and killing everybody. It's like we have a very specific type of thing happening here I don't see anywhere else. Number one. It's our obsession, because if we're not number one, then who are we? Most of what we're doing right now is to stay number one. We will be number one at all costs, no matter what it does to us, to our reputation, to the rest of the world. We will be number one. In fact, if we can't be number one, we'll just crash the entire world. And it just kind of feels the same as, you know, Hulk Hogan never wanted to put somebody over. It's like... And for a little while, that didn't bother me. It didn't. Like, seeing Hulk always win, even though clearly the other person was like a better wrestler, or I even liked them a little bit more. But I gave, like, Hulk a pass, because I was like, he's a black man out here trying to do his thing. But some people look around now and they don't even recognize their country. And look, you could make the very fair point that what they even thought they were seeing in the first place wasn't actually what was happening. That was part of the character, the facade of what America was, because it's something different to everybody. But when you look around the world, it's not the way that it was. I travel a good bit, and whenever I tell people I live here, they're always like, oh. You know? And so it's a hard thing to contend with, because you look at someone like Hulk, right? And Hulk would be in all these commercials, once again, cartoons. He'd do all these events for kids and everything. And he would even say to them on TV and in person, you want to be like the Hulkster, you work hard, say your prayers, and take your vitamins. Right? And even as a kid, I was like, vitamins? Vitamins. Sir. Vitamin. Look, I take my vitamins every day. I take my Flintstone vitamins every single day, and I'm not seeing your type of gain, sir. Sometimes I sneak a second one. Sometimes I have Barney and I have Fred in the morning. Still not. I'll look up. No, it's not. Vitamins. That was... That's a tough one. You know, I'm ready to OD on Flintstone vitamins, trying to be just like Hulk Hogan. And then there's the scandal over that. I don't know if you remember that, but that was huge. There was even a court case about it. Vince McMahon was on trial. Hulk Hogan was out here going on Arsenio Hall saying that he had never taken steroids at all. He just, he's like, the only time I took steroids was prescribed by a doctor for my surgery. I don't take steroids. I don't do that stuff. And then America, the whole country, everybody watched Arsenio Hall, and everybody that heard about it was like, huh? Come on, Hulk. Vitamins? No. But then there was this big scandal because he admitted that he did take steroids eventually. And I think a lot of people, myself included, were like, duh. But there was also some genuine hurt there because once again, this guy said, if you want to be like me, all you got to do is work hard, say your prayers, and take your vitamins. And I've been skinny all my life, but that was one point where I was like, I've been sneaking these vitamins and doing these push-ups. Man, a lot of people were like confused and hurt by that. But once again, a character can be perfect. A person can't be. A character can make all the right moves and justify everything for the sake of the story, and reality just doesn't work that way. But it is a wild thing that Hogan died before Trump. That's surprising. That's very surprising. Come on now. A dude who worked out every day. I understand he took steroids. I get the steroids are, they grow all your muscles and your heart is a muscle and you get complicated. I understand. I also understand that he wrestled and he took a bunch of pain medication stuff. Like there are complications in there. But also, come on. Do you know what I mean? Like, if I were fate and I took a bet, and because the bet, I had to take Hulk Hogan first, I'd be like, that doesn't make sense. Like, that. Come on now. No, that's wild. I understand he took steroids and he didn't have the healthiest lifestyle, did some drugs and stuff like that, but also, this man full of fried chicken. This man, at any given point, I've never seen a picture or video of Trump where he didn't look like he just finished a fried chicken. I'm telling you right now, sometimes I just see crumbs. Y'all know you see these crumbs. Sometimes I just see a couple crumbs. I'm like, what is that? That's either, now I understand tanning. Now I know what tanning is. So that's either skin coming off or it's crumbs. We got a president with crumbs on him all the time. Every time I see Trump, he look like he finished a snack. He full of crumbs. We have a crummy president. This man is covered in crumbs. At best it's dandruff, but I think it's crumbs. I don't know. I know crumbs when I see them. Yeah, no, it's weird. It's very weird. Because it doesn't even feel like Hulk is gone in a way. Not really. Like, I don't know. Any day now I expect another tape to come out. And I expect another tape to come out. He'll be like, listen, brother. That's not the type of language we use over here anymore. Because it just feels like when I travel, it's kind of expected now, but there's this reaction. And that reaction just, it reminds me of when, Hulk would come out and expect to be loved and was getting booed. And it's like, well, yeah, dude, they sort of found out who you were, so there was, And then you can't really now separate the person from the character because the person drives everything the character does. And it's not until you get a little older that you come to that realization. And America works the same way. There's the American dream, and then there's reality. There's the ideals of America, and then there's what we actually do. There's life, liberty, pursuit of happiness. Those are three very big things that sound very good. And it's hard to find, any of the three now. Do you know what I mean? I don't know how much liberty you feel, but I don't feel great. I don't feel fantastic, And there are some people that do that sort of contorting of their worldview to fit the narrative for the story that's in front of them. You would see it happen with Hulk, where people who stayed diehard Hulk fans and didn't care whether he was good or bad would come up with any justification within the storyline for why he was doing what he was doing. Even if Hulk had turned heel and then attacked somebody in a sketch for no reason, they'd be like, well, he was standing there. Why was he standing there if he didn't want to get run wild on? And you see some people do the same thing with every action the country takes. There are some people that, never mind what they said in 2020. I remember the mask. Remember the mask. Remember when it was like, this is tyranny. Look, I understand if you didn't like it. I didn't love it. I definitely felt like I was snorting mask all day. But this is tyranny. Tyranny. This is tyranny. This is tyranny. The tyranny. And now some of those same people, I've watched it because I have Facebook. I've watched some of those same people. You scroll up enough, this is tyranny. And now they're like, of course you should carry proof of citizenship on you at all times. Even if you're a citizen, they don't know. The ICE officer's just doing their job. And I'm like, oh man, you've never met tyranny. That is crazy. That's wild. You're supposed to have life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. We could pursue. I think we're doing a pretty good job of pursuing. We pursue pretty well. We pursue the same way that a rabbit on a treadmill pursues a carrot stick in front of no, we're trying, but I don't know. This is life, liberty, pursuit of happiness, right? And even life. I don't know if you've noticed our lives. But man, feels like we've had a lot of our lives sold over. Like almost feeling like it's been sold out of our hands to a degree. I mean, you look around and people can't even control the circumstances around them when it comes to environment. You might buy a home, an already nearly impossible feat for the average American, depending on where you live, and you buy this home and you take a risk just so that you can own something. You can own a piece of America. You can have your own land, your own little kingdom to yourself that you feel safe and secure, that you know that you worked for. Because remember, hard work, right? It's a staple. But then the data center moves in and skyrockets your electricity bill up, is making constant noise, poisons your water and everything. I mean, that doesn't feel like much of a life. Or when you were just living, wherever you were living, and then companies decide to dump in the water source because it'll be cheaper, or companies decide to lobby as much of Congress as they can to cut regulations so then they can just exhaust from their refineries and factories at will, which poisons your air. They don't live there. The people that work in the place might. The people who are also in your situation, just like fighting to get by and make some money so that they can live, they might live around you, but the person who owns the factory never does. You're supposed to have life, liberty, pursuit of happiness. We are entitled to these things. But then you get gaslit to the point where if you say you're entitled to anything, you somehow have it flipped on you and you sound like some sort of freeloader. But these are my entitlements because I work hard, I pay my taxes, I do everything I'm supposed to do. And it has you sitting there feeling like a bit hopeless because you did everything that you were supposed to do. I worked hard. I said my prayers, took my vitamins. I don't look anything like Hulk Hogan. This is devastating. I've been living a lie this whole time. You have no idea how many vitamins I took. It might have stunted my growth. I took a lot of vitamins. I was taking everything I could because I was sure. I was like, that's good. Oh, that's a big word. No, it just feels so incredibly rigged. You know, the political system, financial system, even when you get a little bit of money and you try to use it to get ahead. Not even, look, you know, there's jealousy and envy all over the world. That's not like a thing particular to us. But you try to get ahead, and I'm not even talking about ahead of other people. Let's say you have the best of intentions and you don't care about the Joneses and you're not trying to get ahead of your neighbor. You're just trying to get ahead so that you have some breathing room for being ahead. You have some breathing room for yourself, you know, so that you're not coming home from work every day like in a fight that you feel like you're losing, you know what I mean? And so you just try your best to get ahead. And then even our financial system doesn't do you any favors because now I guess we're just a casino. I don't know if you saw those soldiers that got charged for placing bets on like Polymarket, Cowshed. I don't remember which one they used, but they placed bets on basically things that they knew were going to happen because of military operations that they were a part of. So, you know, the people that went and grabbed Maduro, they took a bet. And I don't know how much they made. $400,000? 400,000. That's it. That doesn't feel good at all. It's one thing to be corrupt, but like you gotta double down. If you're gonna do something that is inexcusable, I hope they go to jail for longer now. If I was the judge, I would be like, you don't have the sense to take a loan. You can't just, you know you going. Did you not have faith in the operation? You know you going, and you didn't even take out as many loans as possible. 400,000. This is the thing. That's that makes me so mad. That really does. That's up there with politicians being cheap to buy. You know what I mean? Like you got these politicians going to jail, and then you look at what the thing was, whatever the bribe was they took, because like. Lobbying is like legal bribing. So it's like if you get charged with bribing as a politician, you did it extra dumb. You did it you did it loud. If you're a politician and you get charged with bribery, I mean, honestly, you like one of the bank robbers who actually say everybody's name while they rob the bank. You know what I mean? Tyler, tie him up. Tyler, do you have any more zip ties? Tyler! I'm furious. $400,000. Maduro would have paid you that. Maduro would have paid you that to stay. That's crazy. 400,000. Ooh, I feel sick. You know what I mean? Like, we can't even do corruption right. Like, this is embarrassing. Ooh, I'd be so mad. Ooh. $400,000. And who knows how long they're gonna go to jail. Look, because it's jail, $400,000 not only not enough to be worth it to go to jail, but like 400,000. Yeah, I guess they'll be pardoned. That's true. That's true. That's true. No, that's fair. That's fair. They'll get a pardon. But that makes it worse. Because now it's like I bet you Trump won't even pardon him. Because he'll be like, 400,000. I don't pardon losers, all right? $400,000 is such an embarrassingly low number for what you had. You had intel. You had actual intel and a bet that like only you could place. Imagine if you were allowed to bet and people actually got in on it of the next step that you might take if you're going to use your left foot or your right foot, something only you know. And then you're like, how much money you want to put? Only you know. Just in case I'm wrong, I'm not gonna put the house on it, okay? What if I think right and I go left? Like, oh, I hope they don't get a pardon. That's so stupid. 400,000. Oh, I'm gonna lose my mind. I actually like this. Yeah, this is bad. Ooh wee. Imagine if I even knew somebody, if I had a friend, right? If I had a friend who robbed a bank and came to my house. So now it's like implicating me, potentially making me an accessory. And I was like, what, this is someone I've known for a long time. I at least want to get to the bottom of the story. I can't believe you would do something like this. You robbed a bank? Did you hurt anybody? Did you, like, what were you thinking? How are you going to get rid of this money? How are you going to clean this money? You didn't think. And how much did you steal? Around like 400,000. I'd be like, I'm calling the police right now. I'm calling the police because you know what? You didn't do. You robbed a bank. Did you just leave some? Was it too heavy? $400,000. That's ooh. I don't even know what they're gonna do to him, but I hope it's bad. $400,000. You had sensitive, material intel and a bet that was a sure thing. And you were like, I'm gonna take home a dentist salary. We gotta do better as a country. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if we're gonna be a scam country, we gotta be a scam country, you know? NFTs went for millions. NFTs, worthless now. You remember that NFT that sold for, I think it was like $62 million, whatever like that, right? Now, apparently, it's worth $2,300. I know. And look, the person who bought it clearly had that money to spend and wanted to be in the headlines and was just, a vanity buy. Some impulse thing that this person can do because they're rich. But even the artists themselves and the market, even though we knew it didn't quite make sense, it didn't really make sense because you were getting a JPEG of a picture that wasn't it. It's my picture. I own the picture, but then you got a JPEG of the picture. Apparently, a JPEG picture is more expensive than the actual picture that I own. But then I have the real one, and then you have. I know a scam when I see one. Like, You have a picture of the picture, but I have the picture. I have the painting, right? And then you're like, this thing's valued at $100,000. And I was like, oh, actually, I have the painting, and the painting they say is worth $20,000. So there's no way a picture of the picture is worth $100,000, and the picture is only worth $20,000. No, it is. No, it is. It is, though. It is. For 2 years, and then it's not at all, and then it's not worth a dime. People bought NFTs that then ended up losing the link. So then you would go and it'd be that little, that little question mark with a valley next to it. That would be your 100,000, right? That little question mark, little valley. Might even make that old Windows 95 sound like, huh? You remember that? You remember when there was an error somewhere, huh? Like, it was worth so much money until it wasn't. But even a $62, $64 million purchase that ends up being $2,300 is not as dumb as knowing what's going to happen for your bet and walking away with $400,000. And I don't even know how to navigate it right now. Admittedly, I don't. I can't tell people what to do. I know that there are people much smarter, much braver than me, already organizing, already running for office, already pushing for a better country. And I think that it's important that we give those people our time and attention, and we point our efforts towards the things that they're doing, Because I can't tell anybody what to do. And even if I tried to tell people exactly what to do, brick by brick, I don't even know if you should listen to me, I thought Hulk Hogan was black for way too long.
When I